Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Otorimonogatari episode 3, Nadeko Medusa, part 3. Last time, we got a deeper look into Nadeko's head. We had a really good conversation between Shinobu and Nadeko. And I don't know, I'm just curious where we're going from here. I don't know. Nadeko is really, deep into this, and it feels like this arc isn't really helping her with that. So are we just gonna have another arc where her problem isn't fixed? I don't know. I don't think Kuchinawa here is really on her side in that, Kuchinawa, right? So I don't know. I'm curious how this is gonna end now, because we're halfway through. We got 2 episodes left. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a turnaround. Who knows? But we're watching episode 3. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. What is going on? Oh, hi, Ski. What, you thought it was Araki? That's great. Just completely don't even address what you just said. Mm-hmm. Yep, something like that. Kinda, yeah, a little bit. Kinda. Ooh, interesting. Cute. Ooh. Her talking to Ski is interesting. Hmm. Oh man, maybe. I don't know. Hmm. Is Nadeko gonna like that though? I don't know. I don't know. Right, sure, right. Interesting. Hmm. And it's like that kind of reinforces the way she acts, right? Oh man. Not gonna work on her, huh? She's sweating so much. Yeah, did you forget what you said, huh? Hmm. It's interesting because Skihi is the character, Skihi Phoenix was kind of a very related issue to the thing Nautico has, you know what I mean? Oh god. Oh, hurry! It's the trigger's being pulled. Mm-hmm. I think it's been something in your head a lot longer than just that, though, right? That's an interesting thing for her to say because, well, I don't know. I feel like that contributes to it, doesn't it? Don't say that. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Okay, I'm ready for some skihi advice. Isn't it your fault that all you are is cute? I get it. I understand. Yeah. Kinda, a little bit. Basically him, but not really. Hmm. An interrogation light. Yeah. Right, yeah, just like how all she is cute, that's the other thing about her, you know what I mean? A very good question, honestly. Why? Why are you in love with him? Yeah. Man, that long ago. Hmm. Sure. Yeah, it's very unnatural, right? It's weird that she has been this attached to him for so long, you know? What is going on? I'm sure she would say so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, something about the serpent, Kuchinawa. He sure does. He sure does. And it's interesting that despite that, it's not like she's given up, you know? No, that was really interesting. Um, because Skihi, I'm thinking about it now. It's like Skihi Phoenix. I feel like you could say is very like the theme of that arc is very closely related to like what's going on with Nadeko right now. You know what I mean? But it all depends on what you view as like the real Nadeko. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Because like the question is, if Skihi Phoenix is all about, you know, I guess self acceptance in a way for both Skihi and for like Araragi, right? In that arc, if you want to relate that to Nadeko as well, then I guess it just again it just depends. What do we mean by self acceptance, right? Like this version of Nadeko, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff about her just being cute, like is that what she needs to accept, right? Or because, like, I guess I would say that her real problem is, like, the real her. I don't really like saying it like that, but I don't know how else to say it. She hides herself and her interests and everything so much, you know what I mean? And that's what she needs to accept, right? And I guess that's kind of what Skihi was saying, right? When she said, "Isn't it your fault that all you are is cute?" Like, yeah, right? Because of course that's all people are gonna know about her, if that's all that she. Oh God. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Ooh, when did you find out? Hmm. He's he does have a lot. Okay. Oh God, it was Hanakawa, wasn't it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Purple frame. Maybe not. She's the only one for him. Yeah. No, I agree. I see that. I understand that. Okay, so a couple months ago. What in September? We don't know anything that happened in September, do we? Sure, right. If it's a genuine feeling, it's not like it would go away so easily, right? But it's just the other interesting thing is, of course, that she hasn't pursued it at all, right? Interesting. Mm-hmm. But even her saying it like that, man, everything she says, it's like it's just engineered to make you pity her, you know? Hmm. Sure, maybe, right? Interesting thing to think about, right? That would make sense for yeah, for why she's been so infatuated with him for so long, right? Despite not having any connection to him. Sure, right. Yeah, you would think if it's been that long that her feelings for him would be so strong, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Interesting that she knows it will like never develop, that it'll never reach anywhere. Sure, right? Yeah, it's just like it's another angle to. Oh yeah, literally, exactly. Like it's another angle to why she acts this way in the first place, right? Yeah, yeah. That's an excuse that she can use. Hmm. Well, come on, don't say it like that. Hmm. It's God. I feel like it was Hanakawa, but I don't know. Right, right. Yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. Then it's almost like it's just even her feelings towards him just all play into the same thing. Sure, right, yeah, that you were buying like the idea of winning the lottery. Buy reality, huh? What does that mean? Interesting. Is that what Nadeko needs to do? But I guess that's like what she's doing, right? It's like the idea of Araragi, the idea of being in love with Araragi. Yeah, not the actual reality of it, I suppose. Oh God, what are we gonna do? Oh God, she's dead. He's cutting her hair. Old friend. Oh no. Her bangs. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no, that is unsalvageable. Oh jeez. No more bangs. No more bangs to hide behind. And that's such an important part of her character. You know what I mean? Oh no. Oh god. Oh god, girl. Having escaped from reality. Hmm. It's like forcing her to take a look at reality, I guess, right? She can't hide behind them. She just yelled that around all these people. It's like if she still had her bangs, maybe she wouldn't have done that, you know? Making her character slip, huh? Girl I've never seen before. It's like she could see herself now without the bangs in the way, right? Hmm. Ooh. In a sense, I suppose he does. Hmm. Oh, okay. Really? What happens tonight? Interesting. From Araraki? Oh, fucking this guy again. This stupid tie. Oh, he doesn't even recognize her. That's crazy. Because of course, right? Is that what you really look like? No, there were no new developments. Like, come on. How would there be any new developments? Ooh, interesting. Oh man, what an insight into the way she thinks about this, huh? Your bangs, yeah. Yeah, of course, of course. God, no, it's like this is showing how much thought she does put into this, you know what I mean? The way she acts at all times. Yeah, I think Shinobi was wrong about her not being aware of it. For sure. She's so in deep with it, you know what I mean? Like the way she's talking right now, this crazy like man. Yeah, yeah, just like, oh, this is what I need to do to get through this scenario, you know. Oh God. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, literally, for real. Actually. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Literally. For real. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, okay. It's like these are, yeah, I mean, what, everything she's been holding back this long, huh? Oh God. Don't draw her anger towards you. Sure, yeah, yeah. Believed in your sense of duty, huh? Ooh, right. Yeah, it's like that's what she was almost trying to make them think, you know what I mean? By doing nothing, acting so pitiable. Oh God, she's gonna kill them. It's over. Her hair going up like the snakes. Okay. All right. Jesus. They're they're in for a reckoning. Yes, ma'am. Ooh, look at reality. Hmm. Interesting. I think this is very, yeah, I think this is very important to her, right? Like, I think people having this kind of attitude that she's talking about right now is what contributes to why she acts the way she does in the first place. Mm-hmm. Because it comes from like a lack of trust, right? Her not being able to trust other people. Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. Interesting. More and more so, I'm so sure now that Nadeko does view herself that way. Okay, that was a really good scene. Oh, she's back. She's back. Hmm. It's like the world is full of color now. Interesting. Yeah, of course. Because she was using the same first person pronoun he always uses, right? Ore-sama. So yeah, yeah. Already knows that. Already well aware, just like before. Interesting. But I wonder, I mean, could you say that that was the real her? I don't know. I don't know. It's your fault. Let's end it. What are we ending exactly? Oh, the vessel. Okay. What is the vessel exactly? Interesting. Let's bid farewell. The end of all of it. An interesting hmm, interesting words to use. Oh. At his house. The ending to everything is there. This is really some interesting language they're using for this. Okay, thanks, Uchinoa. If you say so. Yeah, well, it's because I think the vessel might be something more personally related to you, just like Kuchinawa is, right? Hmm. Okay. What part of it? Interesting. Don't have to get hurt. Sure. It's just, I think it's just all, just goes into her fear of opening up, right? Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what she's so scared of, right? Is having her own, or showing other people, I guess, her own desires. That's why she's so disconnected from herself. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Just because he was someone convenient who was there, right? You just happened to. Interesting. As unattainable as the stars. Okay. What? Oh, God. It's a bunch of the Hanakawa, like in Kizu. Yeah, maybe. It might be. Oh, is weird talisman thing. It's like the one, yeah, like the one Oshino gave him, right? Yeah, a lot more complicated looking. Hmm. Ooh, it has the snake thing. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Feed you the talisman. This gotta mean something, you know what I mean? Like this has to represent something. I just don't know. What is the vessel? What is the talisman? Hmm. Ooh, interesting. What is it that I want? Like I. I assume that was like watashi. Ooh. In quotes. In quotes yet again, huh? Interesting. Huh. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no. Oh, and that's the end. Fuck. That was a really good episode. Um, man, we're gonna have some stuff to talk about, I feel like, for sure. We always do, but okay. That was really interesting. God, there were so many good scenes there. I don't even know. Like, huh. Nadeko's such a cool character, like actually. Wow. I'm I'm really thinking this arc is not gonna end well for her. I don't think maybe that was already obvious, right? Because I mean we get the at the opening scene of the first episode, we see where it's led her to, assuming that was like real, right? I still have my doubts about that because of the things Aragi was saying, right? Um, I guess we already kind of knew this wasn't going to end well for her, assuming it doesn't really progress much from there. Especially just because I'm so sure now that Kuchinawa. Well, I don't know. It's really hard to say what I think Kuchinawa is representative of, you know? Because Kuchinawa is essentially, I mean, it's kind of just like the first lines of the opening, her saying it's like a delusion, right? Kuchinawa kind of is just like a delusion, right? More so than any other oddity is. Like, all of the oddities kind of are. They're all just kind of externalized representations of a problem the character has, right? But Kuchinawa is so weird. Wow. Surprising. Uh-huh. Oh god. Okay, how it's it gotta be some weird Japanese thing. Like I don't know. I don't know what that means. Sure. I guess. Okay, okay, sure, sure. Interesting. A interesting question, huh? This is a long one. Hmm. Okay, thank you, thank you. Interesting. Was that a weird Japanese kanji thing, or was that a real thing? I can't tell. I don't know. I mean, it's real either way, but you know what I mean. Is it something I could possibly understand if I reread that? Maybe. Anyway, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. That was really good. That the scene here with her like freaking out, man, this was a good one. The scene at the start was very good. I don't know, every scene in this episode was like crazy, honestly. I guess it was kind of just two scenes long. It was basically this scene and then this scene, but both of them were really good. So there we go. That's my hot take. That the episode was good. I know. Um, okay, we got a lot to talk about. I feel like. So we start off here with Nadeko talking to Skihi, which there's several things to think about with Nadeko and Skihi, right? It's interesting how Skihi is the one who is Nadeko's friend that like originally through Skihi, that is how Nadeko originally became connected to Araragi, right? And like the backstory in Nadeko Snake, that's what she talks about, right? About how she was friends with Skihi. She came over here. Skihi had a brother. It's Araragi, right? I don't really know what to think about that, but it's interesting. I guess it's interesting alongside what she says later, which is it almost because that it's kind of what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how Araragi, there's really nothing special about Araragi for Nadeko, right? She doesn't have a reason to be in love with him, really. It's just the fact that he was like there, I guess, that it's convenient, right? That it's him, right? That him being Skihi's older brother, so much older than her, and being in her eyes like this unattainable figure, I guess, right? Um, that is why he is the target of her affection, I suppose, if you can even call it that, right? I don't know. I don't know. If I had to guess, when she was so much younger back then, I imagine she really was infatuated by Araragi in some sense, right? She had a crush on him or something, right? Because I doubt Nadeko has always been like this, right? Or at least not to this degree. So I imagine that she genuinely has feelings for him or had feelings for him, and just they have either she has held on to them for so long for the reasons that they explained in this conversation, right? Um, or I'm like, well, no, I mean, I guess that really is it, right? Like, it's the real question with her feelings about Araragi is how much like how much of it on her part is like does she like know what she's doing? I guess, right? Or how much of it even is like an intentional thing? You know what I mean? Like because we talk about her using Araragi as a convenient excuse to like get through life in so many ways, right? I think her feelings for Araragi are very closely related to like just the reason why she acts like this in the first place, right? Her being afraid of the idea of being like genuine about who she really is and like what she wants, right? Being like her own person, I suppose, you know. Um well, I mean like kinda, right? Cuz I guess she is her own person either way, right? Like she's Nautico this, you know, the Nautico that we see is a unique person, right? Of course, right? I mean, just like anyone else, obviously. Um it's not like she's copying someone. I guess that's the important thing I'm trying to say here, right? It's not like she's copying someone. She's not being genuine about like I guess who she really wants to be and like the way she is, I guess. You know what I mean? But it's still weird to say it like that cuz like we still don't know anything about her. So, I don't know. I don't know. But I guess that's kind of the important thing, right? Is of course we don't know anything about her about like who she really is. I hate saying it like that, but about like what she would really want and the way she would really want to act, because I think she doesn't either. You know, like she has always she's acted like this for so long, and she's been like this for so long that of course she hasn't even formed like her own identity based on like the way she wants to act. It's also like socially determined for her, you know? She's so worried about like the reactions of other people to her. I mean, I think that's the whole point of her yelling at her classmates here. I think this is very like what she's yelling at them about and the way that they're acting, the way they're being is so closely related to why she acts the way she does, why she has formed like this attitude and this way of engaging with the world. You know what I mean? Hmm. So Skihi thought she was hugging Araragi. That's sure. Is that their morning routine, I guess? Yeah, it was something like that, Skihi. It was something like that, don't worry. So Skihi, man, Skihi is a match for Nadeko, for sure. Because, you know, we talked about this a little bit, right? About how Skihi Phoenix was about like there's about a lot, but it was about like self-acceptance both for Skihi, like recognition that Skihi is still Skihi, despite like her being the evil bird, right? Like whatever that means, right? She's still Skihi, right? It was also about self-acceptance for Araragi with like the whole monster thing, right? Like I think that was kind of Skihi Phoenix kind of marked Araragi having this major shift in like himself and like the way he views himself. Kinda. We've talked about that. But I think that's also very applicable to Nadeko as well, right? Like the question for Nadeko, if we're looking at this through like this lens of like self acceptance and stuff, like Ski as a character is so much about, then what is the lesson that Nadeko needs to learn, right? I guess we already said that there's like two paths this can go down, right? Is self acceptance through accepting like the way she is now and being like, oh, this is who I am. I just need to like be happy with the way I am right now, right? Like I'm me, you know, I'm Sengoku Nadeko. I can't change anything about myself. This is me, right? Or acceptance in the terms of like getting away from the way she's acting now and being more open and genuine about whoever and however she actually wants to be and act, right? Um, and I'm wondering if, like, I mean, I've been saying for a while what you can imagine Kuchinawa is representative of for Nadeko. I feel like it's really complicated, honestly. There's so many things you could say Kuchinawa, like, represents for her. But the fact that by the end she does have all the weird snake shit going on makes me think that it's the former. That the version of, like, self-acceptance you could say that she's going to reach is this, like, rejection, essentially, of being genuine and being like opening herself up to other people, right? Um, which isn't good. That's not a good thing. So cool. Because like for example, I guess I don't think she really gives up on Araragi, right? Like she ends up killing Araragi, or well, I mean, she doesn't. I don't think she's actually gonna kill him. In the opening scene, we see her kill Araragi, right? And she screams like, "Oh, Araragi, I hate you," right? But what she's thinking about in that moment is, "Oh, I wish I was besides Araragi right now. I wish I was Shinobu," you know. So it's like, certainly by that point, it's not like she's given up on her infatuation with Araragi, right? Which I think is unfortunately kind of an important part of uh abandoning this whole like persona that she has created as well, right? You know what I mean? Like moving towards like some kind of real kind of self-acceptance, right? I think Araragi can't really be part of that, right? Because Araragi just feels so key to her, like to all of this. You know what I mean? So, man. So all of this stuff about Nadeko being cute. Um, it's interesting because yes, Nadeko is cute, right? And it's not her fault that she was born cute, right? It's not her fault that she like looks like this, I guess, right? That other people see her and they're like, "Oh, she's a cute girl," right? Like sure, right? There's nothing she can do about that, right? Um and it seems like that reaction that people have to her like being in that position in society, I guess, right? Like people looking at her and immediately thinking, oh, she's a cute girl, so I'm also going to assume X and Y and Z about her, right? It's like that she has embraced that so much, right? It's like she's unable to fight against the preconceptions that other people have about her. Maybe not even the preconceptions, just the way other people view her in general, right? Like, again, this classroom scene later when she's yelling at them for, like, for the way that they perceive other people's feelings and stuff, right? I think that that's very much goes along with, like, this as well, right? Other people see her as so cute, right? And it's like, because other people automatically see her as that, and they, of course, alongside that, you assume other things about them, right? Like, welcome to, I don't know, like, gender, right? Like, it's people are going to see Nadeko and you're going to assume things about her because of the way she looks, right? And, like, the way she is, you know what I mean? And it's like she's unable to, maybe it's not that she's unable to, maybe that's a mean way to say it, but she just lets herself get swept up in that, right? She just, like, she has, the way that she acts kind of perfectly embodies all of those preconceptions that people would think about her, right? Skihi kind of says the same thing, right? That, like, yeah, it's really cute of her to have this never-ending love for Araragi that she doesn't try and pursue, right? That she just kind of hopelessly pines over, right? That she, like, her attitude, the way she acts at all times, even the way she speaks, right? Her voice is so different now than it is, like, in the classroom scene later, right? When she's yelling at everyone, right? It kind of makes you think, like, even her voice, that she, like, has that kind of been a, you know, like, the way she talks is probably something that she's even manufactured for this, right? Not that I'm saying that she's doing it through, I don't think she's doing it like a crazy evil psychopath who's, like, trying to, you know, trick everybody or something, right? I think it's very much like an automatic thing that she's doing, right? I don't think she's, like, trying to trick everyone in that sense, right? And I think it's, and maybe that's just obvious because, like, of the way that she, like, in this scene where she's unhappy with Skihi saying that she's so cute, right? Because that's really it, right? Nadeko is unhappy with herself, I guess. That's really the important thing, right? She's unhappy with herself. The way that she is because she is so reliant on the way that other people perceive her, that she has crafted this entire version of herself that she's just unhappy with, right? I don't think she likes it, you know what I mean? I think that's what Kuchinawa is representative of a lot, right? Like, we've talked about how Kuchinawa, in this episode too, I think it's very, very important with the way in the scene when she's freaking out, she uses the same first-person pronoun that Kuchinawa does as well, Ore-sama, right? So I really think she views herself as Kuchinawa in, like, a weird way, right? I don't really know how to say it other than that. We've talked about it before. But, like, I mean, it's the same with, like, the Nadeko and Watashi split as well, right? The Nadeko versus her actually referring to herself with a normal, like, I pronoun, right? So yeah, I mean, there's this clear distinction between the way she is and the way she, maybe not the way she wants to be, because I don't even know if she's that far along, you know what I mean? Like, she is so, she's so weak to the perceptions of other people in the way that she thinks that she should act, that I just don't even know if she's gotten that far yet. The idea of changing as a person to be to act like a way that she wants to be instead of the way that other people would want her to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And, like, I'm thinking more too, like when we go to her room in, like, Nisei Monogatari, it's so, like, pink and fluffy, and so, like, or, like, we've seen a room in this arc too, of course, right? And it's so, like, stereotypically, like, feminine and, like, cute, you know what I mean? And I guess just femininity in general, right? Like, of course she acts like that all the time because, like, that's just what's expected of her as, like, a girl, especially the way she looks, right? That's what we're talking about here, you know? So, like, I guess I'm not saying that everything about her is because of that. Because of that in terms of, like, it's not that everything about her is entirely manufactured because of the perceptions of other people and because that's how she thinks she needs to act, right? Like, there could be parts of her now that are still, like, things about her that, like, are important to her, right? But it's kind of impossible to know, right? Because I guess that's what Skihi says in a minute, is that all she is cute, right? That it's, like, it's her fault for only being cute, right? And I agree with that because it's not Nadeko's fault for being cute. And in that sense, it's like being cute. I guess you can kind of translate that to like it's not Nadeko's fault for the way that other people are going to perceive her and the way that they are going to assume things about her, right? Because this goes for anyone, right? Nadeko's just a very extreme example because I guess like the way she acts and the way she is, the way she looks, right? Um, it's not her fault for being cute and the way that other people perceive her, right? But it is her fault, like what Skihi says in a second, that all she is cute, right? That she has been unable to form her own identity or go against that at all, right? It's like, again, thinking about this on like a more meta level, about like Nadeko as a character, your first perception of her from like, I don't know, if you watch Run Eye Circulation, right? Your first perception of her is just that like she's just this cutesy character that is all has a crush on this guy and that's about it, right? And Nadeko Snake, that's kind of all it presents you. That's kind of all it presents to you about her, right? Like if you don't look at it from the level of it not presenting anything else about her is like the point. That is all that we get about her as a character, right? And that's kind of all we've gotten about her since then, right? Before this arc, right? So it's really just it's her fault in the sense of she's unable or unwilling, I guess. I don't want to sound mean because like I get it. I feel like everyone has the same kind of struggle she does, just probably to a less extreme extent. She's unable or unwilling to like be her own person or do anything that fights against these preconceptions that other people have of her, right? Like the scene we get later when she's talking to the weird teacher guy who's being weird. And we're in her head and she's thinking all that stuff about like this is what I need to say next, this is what I need to do next, if I look down and act so pitiable he'll just walk away, right? It's so she just started acting like this so much. The entire way that she acts as a person is entirely decided off the reaction she wants to get from other people, right? Which is very relatable, I think, to like everyone. I think everyone can understand that, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Um, Skihi says all this stuff about her growing her bangs out to hide her face and wearing unstylish clothes because of her not wanting other people to see her as cute, I guess, right? I don't really know if I agree with that because I feel like it kind of attributes to it or contributes to it, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, shown favoritism just for that makes you feel guilty. So that's why you grow out your bangs and hide your face like that. But I don't really think that's why. I don't know if I agree with Skihi. Because I think the reason she's grown out her bangs so much is it actually helps, right? For one, it helps because she literally can't hide herself from, like, the gazes of other people. She talked about that before, right? Which is, of course, that's kind of the whole fucking thing with her, right? The gazes of other people. Other people's perception of her is kind of entirely what makes her act the way she does, right? So, like, yeah, I guess her wanting to cover her eyes so she can't see them and they can't see her, that makes sense. But it also contributes in the sense of, like, she uses it. She uses her bangs to contribute to the being cute factor, right? She uses it to, like, with the teacher later to try and make him get awkward and walk away, right? So I don't know, like, I guess you could say maybe that was an initial reason for doing that, but even that was kind of co-opted into being part of this whole thing that she does. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, the unstylish clothes. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just Geeky being mean. I don't know. I get what you're trying to say, but isn't it your fault that all you are is cute? And I think saying it's her fault is, like, mean. No, but I mean, like, I get what she means, right? Because most people, it's not as extreme as Nadeko. Most people are able, at least in some way, to have something that's like them. You know what I mean? Like, but Nadeko is completely unable to do that. She cannot be herself at all, right? Because she's so worried about how other people perceive her, right? Like, and the crazy thing is, like, through her worry of the perception of other people, she, like, dehumanizes other people so much. You know what I mean? Like, in the conversation she has with the teacher later, or, like, in her head, the way she's thinking about him, she's really thinking about it as just this social situation that she has to navigate to get through with, like, her outcome that she wants, right? She's not actually thinking about the other teacher as a person. She's thinking about, oh, I need to act like this to get them to react like this, so then they'll go away, right? So it's like, she's so worried about what other people think about her, to the point where she's not even worried about other people, like, as people. She's not even thinking about them as people. She's just thinking about their reactions to her, and, like, that's, like it, you know? It's just so unhealthy for her to be doing this. I know, that's probably a really, really hot take to say that it's not good to act like this, but, man, my big secret. Yeah, Nadeko, you really did a good job. Really did a good job hiding that one. Hmm. And, like, it being obvious is, like, the point, right? It's so weird. It's so weird that she reacts like this. I don't really know what to make of it. That she reacts like this and says that it was her big secret, that she's so surprised that Skiki knows. When it seems like it being obvious is the point, you know what I mean? Like, it certainly contributes to people treating her a certain way, right? Knowing her as a character who is so, hopelessly in love with this guy that she has no chance with, you know what I mean? Because that certainly helps her, right? But again, it's like maybe I'm being double played here, and maybe her also acting like it was hidden and that no one would know is it literally is another thing that makes you also feel bad for her, right? So I'm just saying, right? Like, hmm. And yeah, we bring up the whole thing. We've talked about this before about her being in love with Araragi and how weird it is, right? Her infatuation with him, despite it having been so long, right? Um, and yeah, and Skihi kind of points out just how obvious it is, how like wrong this is, how weird it is, right? Like her saying that it's like if Nadeko had really been in love with him like this whole time, then it's just her behavior so weird, right? Like, would she really? She'd be fine with him having a girlfriend. She'd be fine with. I mean, I guess it's weird to say, is she fine with it? Because it's almost like that's something this arc addresses, right? Because we see at the beginning, the opening scene in episode 1, she decides to murder Araragi because she hates him for being with Shinobu, right? Um, which is not good. That's kind of the opposite of what I wish her reaction to Araragi would be. Um, but I don't know. Maybe that's the point. Maybe this is just leading us to a bad ending for Nadeko, right? That she is just not going to be able to overcome this. That she's going to go in the opposite direction, right? Hmm. So I like the idea because I think it's funny that the person that Nadeko saw with Araragi was Hanakawa, because like because they've made this joke so many times that Hanakawa and Araragi would be a perfect match for each other. Everyone's always so shocked that Aragi's not dating Hanakawa. All of that, right? I think that would be really funny. Maybe, who knows? But I don't know. But then again, Nadeko has seen Hanakawa before, like in Bakemonogatari. So maybe not. Maybe it was just Senjigahara. Maybe that doesn't make any sense, right? Gotta ruin my fun. But no, that was the first episode of Tsubasa Cat, right? When Nadeko ran into Hanakawa, or Hanakawa ran into Aragi and Nadeko talking, right? So it must have been Senjigahara. Unlucky. It would have been funny. She's a perfect match, to the point she's the only one for him. Everyone thinks he's the only one for her. But it's really the opposite. Let me read these text flashes. There's so many text flashes I've missed, but oh well. But it's really the opposite. I don't know. This text flash is weird. But it's really the opposite. Which, she's the only one for him. And, like, I guess I agree with that. But I would almost say that I would think it would be the other way around, that there would be people who think he's the only one for her. But I don't know, they're just perfect for each other, right? Aragi and Senjugahara. I guess that's really it. Like, I don't know. They're the only one for each other, in a sense, right? Um, like, yeah, Senjugahara has said this stuff before about how, like, um, if it hadn't been Araragi who saved her, that it could have been anyone else, right? That she thinks she would have fallen in love with anyone, right? But she's glad it's him, right? But of course, it was Araragi who saved her, right? So, like, yeah, he's the only one for her in that sense, right? Because it was him who did it, right? And that's the important thing, right? And of course, for Araragi, I think there's a million reasons you can say Senjugahara is the only one for him, because, like, I mean, she prevented him from killing himself a few times. That's pretty good, right? Yeah, I would agree. Hmm. That happened in September. We don't know anything about September, right? We've seen the end of August, which is like all the stuff, like the time travel arc, the tiger, all that stuff, right? Still a whole bunch of stuff we don't know that has to happen in August, because there's still wherever Araragi was during Tsubasa Tiger. But who knows? Who knows? How does Nanako-chan, knowing Oni-chan as a girlfriend, continue to be in love with him? I don't really plan on stealing him away. It's not even like I could. Because it's not really her goal, right? Because I really think... I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to say. How much of it's... How much is Nadeko, like, aware of what she's doing? I don't know. That's really just the question, right? Because, like, yes, for Nadeko, if she actually started seriously pursuing Araragi, for one, that would mean she would have to give up. Because she wouldn't win, right? Like, obviously, right? She would not be able to beat Senjo Gahara for Araragi, or Kambaru, or anyone else, right? You know what I mean? Like, so, like, no, right? She would have to give up, right? And, like, that's obvious to us, right? I guess, does Nadeko know that? Does Nadeko know she wouldn't be able to win? And is that why she just doesn't do it, right? But then, to me, it's just, like, that gives me the vibe that in that case, it makes you think that, like, okay, then does Nadeko, like, kind of know what she's doing, right? Because, like, yeah, because we know that she does kind of benefit in a weird sense, right? From being in love with Araragi and it just kind of being a constant thing in her life, right? It's almost like it really is like something she can take a sense of comfort from. The fact that this love for Araragi that she has is always there, she can always fall back on it and use that as an excuse for things, right? As an excuse for not engaging with, like, other stuff, right? We'll talk about that later when we get to that scene, because I think that's important. Just being in love is enough for me. He says he has a girlfriend. I have no intent of troubling him. Jesus. And so I agree with Skihi. Skihi says that's a problem, because if Nadeko truly is in love with him, right? If Nadeko really is in love with him, then her pursuing him seriously would be good, right? It would be good because that would be her acknowledging something that is meaningful to her as a person and pursuing it, right? Like that's something she's, like, unable to do, right? Something that she's never done, right? That would be something along the lines of, you would imagine something along the lines of self-acceptance. It depends, of course, on what Nadeko's actual feelings about Araragi are, right? Like, how much this has been, like, constructed in her mind at this point, right? Because at this point, it's like, I think she's formed such a weird, like, relationship with Araragi, like, in her head, about, like, what she thinks about him, that I wonder, like, is she really still in love with him? I mean, I imagine she was at one point, but at this point, it's just so... I don't even know, right? It's been so long, and it's so weird now. She's so out of touch with herself and, like, what she really wants and who she really wants to be that it's so hard to say, I guess, you know? In other words, he's like some TV star or hero from a manga. Someone you long for but never get. And that makes sense, right? That doesn't mean my feelings are fledgling. And that makes sense because, like, yeah, that's kind of the angle of her using it as, like, a convenient excuse for things. For someone that's been in love since second grade, you're being awfully acquiescent. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, but then it is true, right? That she has been, like, she did do this weird shit, like, in Nisei, right? Where she's been obviously so... Or even in Nadeko Snake, right? Some of the ways she was acting in Nadeko Snake, getting naked in front of him and stuff, right? Even that was kind of like... I don't know, right? I don't know. It really is. It's like she just thinks this is... it's like she thinks this is the way she should be acting, right? I guess, is it really just all in the same vein as that? Is it really just, like, she thinks that since she is in love with him, right? She says, oh, I'm in love with Araragi, that means I should do this, right? So that's, you know, so she just acts like this, right? Whether or not she seriously thinks there's any chance of it continuing to anything or not, right? Whether or not she even wants that, you know? There's, like, romance you know will never come to fruition, and thus reassured you keep it up. She's telling me I love someone and to never change that. She's telling me I love someone out of reach, or entirely fictitious, just so I won't be hurt. Loving someone who won't turn you down sure is the easy way out. That is interesting, right? That is interesting. Loving someone who won't turn you down. Because I guess Araragi is unique in that aspect, too, because, of course, for one, Aragi's dumb, and he is never going to acknowledge Nadeko's feelings for him, right? This episode kind of changes that. The end of this episode, I guess, he heard her wish. This episode's or I'm sorry, Aragi is kind of dumb because, like, yeah, he's never going to acknowledge her love for him because he is, because of his own self-image problems and his own, like, you know, all that stuff going on with him, right? So of course, like, he kind of has the, he has the dumb anime protagonist attitude about stuff. I dropped my pen. Um, and that's a benefit for Nadeko in that case, right? No, I mean, yeah, Aragi really is like the perfect target for her affections in that sense. You know what I mean? It was easy for you to decline when some other boy asked about. Yeah, Nadeko Snake, right? Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And that was essentially already directly brought up, right? Actually, I turned down a confession from a boy on the baseball team in my first term with that exact reason. Yeah. Hmm. And I mean, she has an excuse for it, but I feel like she's doing, like, we aren't seeing her face here. We aren't seeing, I feel like right now she's doing the same thing she was doing in that conversation with the teacher later, where she's just thinking, okay, what do I need to say to get through this conversation, right? Hmm. No way I'd win against her. And yeah, and even the way she's acting now, right? Yeah, even the way she's acting now, it's so cute, right? Man. Okay, and now we start talking about reality. If you ask them why they buy the tickets despite that, they say, I'm buying my dreams. Every time I hear that, I can't help but think, buy reality. I think when people say follow your dreams, it really means look at reality. If you're actually going to confess to Onichan, at the very least, I would have stayed quiet and observed the battle. I always thought that until now. But I've had enough, I'm bored of this. Yeah, like, because that's the thing, right? Nadeko is so out of touch with reality, right? I guess that's kind of an important part of this arc, too. Because if Kuchinawa is just an oddity that essentially just exists in her head, right? Like, I don't really think that means that Kuchinawa doesn't exist, right? Because, like, what is an oddity, right? Because oddities only exist through people believing in them, right? So, like, if Nadeko thinks Kuchinawa exists, then I guess he exists, right? But he is a very personal oddity to her, right? The fact that no one else can see him, the fact no one else can hear him, the fact, like, yeah, Kuchinawa only exists for Nadeko. He's in her head, right? Yeah, she really is out of touch with reality. You know what I mean? Like, not even just in that sense, like in the arc in general, but also just like the way she acts as a character, right? She is unable, and it's like, I feel like Skihi's at a loss with this too, right? Like, because Skihi as a character is all about, I guess, being herself, being just a genuine person, right? That was kind of the point of Skihi Phoenix, and Nadeko is the opposite of that. And Skihi herself, it's like she just doesn't even know what to say or know what to do, right? Other than cut off her bangs to try and force her to look at reality, because it's so unclear what Nadeko even wants or who she even is. Like, yeah, just cut off her bangs, make her face reality, right? No longer hide. But I wonder if this is really going to have a good impact or not. I don't know. I don't know. Because yes, we cut off her bangs, and in a sense, it's making her face reality, I guess. But if we think about her bangs and what she used them for, she used her bangs partially to hide from the gazes of other people, right? Because the gazes of other people, their perception of her, is what makes her act the way she does. It's like the only thing she thinks about like what she should do, how she should act at any moment, right? So without her bangs, if she more clearly sees the gazes of other people, there are two routes she can take with that. She can either say, okay, I see what all these people like think about me and the way they perceive me, right? And since I'm not hiding it from it anymore, I have to face it, and I'm gonna, be my own person and face reality and all of this, right? Or because she can more clearly see the gazes of other people and their perception of her, she could just fall even deeper and even further think, oh, because I'm so much more aware, even more now, of the gazes of others, then I really gotta, act this way or this way, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Because it's kind of like, because if you think in Nisei, when she invites Aragi over to her house and she has her hair like done up, right? She has her bangs out of her face. It's not like in that moment she was being more of herself or anything, right? She was very much in Nadeko mode, right? In fact, that was the scene in which she told Aragi to not go into the closet, right? To not look into whatever's in the closet, which is like very much representative of the same thing, right? Her not wanting to show other people like anything about like her real self, right? So like in that scene, the bangs being gone certainly didn't help her, right? I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. So we arrive at school. A girl I've never seen before, looking at herself in the mirror and saying, a girl I've never seen before. What a sad thing to think, honestly, right? It's like, because she doesn't even want to look at herself, right? It's almost like that, too. It's like the bangs. If she looks in the mirror now without her bangs and is like, oh, I'm finally seeing myself, a girl I've never seen before, right? It's like, even then, it's like even her own perception of herself. It's like, that's something that she's wanted to avoid as well, right? It's like this whole time with her bangs in the way, not being able to see herself clearly in the mirror either, you know? Like, it makes you wonder, is she even in touch with what she wants herself at all, right? Like, is there even anything for her anymore other than just being Nadeko, you know? Like, because it's like she's been doing this for so long, she's acted like this with everyone for so long, right? And it's like, and if Kuchinawa is this oddity in her head that is representative of like this weird way that she could like view herself, right? And like in this episode, her saying that she like wants to end this relationship between herself and Kuchinawa, right? Then it's like, is that almost representative of her deciding like I'm going to cut myself off completely from the real me and I'm just going to be Nadeko, right? Like maybe it's just that's really sad if so, right? But maybe so because at this point she just might not even know. She might just not even know like who she is or who she could be, right? Suddenly the serpent had no nothing. Okay, is there really nothing else there? Okay. It's just if you really think about your bangs that much, I'm not against fixing them for you. What do you say? I guess he does kind of fix her bangs, right? He does kind of fix her bangs. Fixing her bangs is interesting, right? He replaces them with snakes. Or I guess, I mean, he replaces them with snakes. Like, I even know, because Kuchinawa is just like her. At this point, I'm just 100% sure Kuchinawa, like, is Nadeko. I think it's some weird way that Nadeko views herself, right? I think the weird, like, manipulation angle. But, like, I don't even think it's, like, manipulating other people exactly. I really think in some weird sense, she views herself as, like, being in the same position that Kuchinawa is, right? That Nadeko, that her, is, like, this poor, like, vessel that she is puppeting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it goes that far, but maybe in like some weird subconscious part of her mind that made Kuchinawa exist. That really is how she views the situation, right? But I don't know. Because it's like Kuchinawa talking about the vessel stuff, whatever. We talked about this in the last episode. Whatever. We're able to find his vessel as early as tonight. I don't know what the vessel is or what to make of it at all. I have no idea. Yeah, I really don't know. The vessel has to mean something, you know what I mean? Other than this weird, like, potential connection you can make between the vessel and the idea of Nadeko having this vessel to, like, hide her true self, in a sense, right? I don't know, like, what the vessel is. Like, what you could say it represents. I don't know. And here's a teacher. What's his fucking name again? Sasayabu Sensei. I don't like him. He has a stupid tie. He's a loser. It's interesting how okay, for one, he's not a good person. He's like weird, and he is pushing all of this weird responsibility onto Nadeko for some reason. I don't really like it. Just seems weird to me, right? Like I guess you could take like a charitable look at it and say like, oh, he just wants Nadeko to be able to do things, right? And like he feels bad for her or something, right? We don't really. There's no really reason to think that, right? So like I don't know. It seems to me it really is weird that he's pushing this responsibility off onto her, right? So his perception of her, it's weird because in that sense, like his perception of her is weird because what Nadeko says in a second is like, oh, you should have seen I'm a good for nothing. He wasn't going to do anything about it, right? It's like she's mad that he hasn't started seeing her in that way, right? It's like her vessel, Nadeko, the way that she acts with everyone, it's like it's failing against him, right? It's so weird to her that he continues to ask her this stuff and continues to be like, oh, have you fixed the problem yet? When from her point of view, with the way that she portrays herself and the way she always acts around him, he should have just given up, right? Like, why is he still trying, right? So it's weird because in that sense, it's like he represents someone who is viewing Nadeko in a way that is contrary to the way that she like portrays herself, right? Which is like good. I think she needs people like that. But it's also weird because like the way he's perceiving her and the things he's asking of her are also just like weird. Like I don't know why him pushing all of this weird responsibility on her to do something about the classroom is like it's like, what is she gonna do? Like, I don't know, go in there and yell at them all, I guess. Did that really do anything? Maybe I'm just viewing it in a bad way. I don't know. But those things just seem contradictory to me, right? Because it seems important to have a character like him who does kind of end up ignoring her persona in a sense, right? He still expects these things of her despite the way she acts. And maybe for him, it's just purely because he wants to avoid taking this responsibility himself, right? Maybe it doesn't come from a good place for him. But it's weird because then it's like it doesn't come from a good place. So like, I don't know what to make of it, right? I hope you understand the conflict there. Because you would hope that if we have a character like him who perceives Nadeko in a way other than just being cute and like being useless, right? Like that's the way she's trying to portray herself here. That it would be in like a different, like more positive light, but for him it just like isn't, right? It seems like he's choosing to perceive her in this different way and believe that she can do something about the classroom because he just wants to avoid the responsibility, right? Which is weird. How's it gonna get solved in one day? Like literally, like actually. It's like, I don't know. Man. But like, and I guess it's interesting too, because this kind of responsibility, maybe this is important, right? This kind of responsibility that she like wants to avoid through using this persona. Maybe that's what this is just like representative of, right? The kinds of things that she's had like an easier time in life with using this persona, right? And maybe the fact that the teacher doesn't just give up immediately. Maybe that's important because it shows that it's just like not working, right? Maybe it's important because it shows that the way that Nadeko acts like doesn't actually work and that it isn't just giving her an easy pass through life, right? I don't know. Maybe. Haven't done so. Let's wait for Sasa Yabu Sensei to become unsettled and walk away. So yeah, we get this weird scene. And length of time aside, it's likely never going to get solved. Going on standby. We get this weird scene where we get Nadeko's thoughts for once. It feels like this is like one of the first times in this arc where we get Nadeko's thoughts like for real, right? We get the actual way that she thinks when she's going through these social situations, right? Which it's very like formulaic. It's very much like, oh, I'm gonna do this so that, this happens, right? And they do this and blah, 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 blah. Which more so strengthens that connection to me, that idea of her like viewing herself as Kuchinawa in a weird way. It also just shows like she seems so aware of like what she's doing, right? I really think Shinobu has to be wrong when Shinobu said like, oh, it seems like you aren't aware of what you're doing, right? Like, no, I think Nadeko even fooled Shinobu in that scene, right? Like, I feel like with her internal thoughts, the way she's thinking here, no, she seems so aware of the way that she's acting, like what her goal is at the very least, right? Like she's so, like, yeah. Even with my eyes closed and looking down, Sasayabu Sensei has a clear view of my face. If you can see my facial expressions, it's obvious to them that I'm not troubled so much, right? It's obvious that, yeah, I'm not really bothered by it, right? Because of course that's what she said, right? Of course, after her freak out in the classroom, I don't know if I really believe her anymore, but maybe Nadeko isn't bothered by it, because of course Nadeko is not supposed to be bothered by it, but actual her is in some sense, you know what I mean? Make up a likely excuse and get through this scene. Yeah, it's so... I don't want to say it's manipulative, the way she's acting, right? But it's very much like the way she's viewing people is in this weird, like, way, right? I guess you know what I mean, right? Bangs or no bangs, like I always do. Start with I'm sorry and take it from there. Shut the hell up. Literally. For real. Man, and she... Yeah, of course there are already new developments. Don't, of course, know your work on to me. So, again, interesting about the scene. She mimics Kuchinawa's, like, speech pattern, that whole thing. She uses the same first-person pronoun that Kuchinawa does, Ore-sama, right? It's very, yeah, it's very much like she is like Kuchinawa in this moment. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that this means this is like the real her, right? I think I mean, just like everything else, right? This is just a reaction to a lot of stuff, right? This is kind of her. She's kind of reached that emotional boiling point in a sense, and it's like, she can't really hold it in anymore. I guess, right? Can't really blame her, right? It's kind of a reaction in this case to Sasayabu Sensei not falling for her thing. You know what I mean? Like what she says in a second here, right? Like, um, yeah, I know I'm just a cute girl no matter what other people say. I just do as I'm told. That doesn't mean I don't have any emotions. Doesn't seem the quiet one's really quiet. But she says, yeah, can't you tell just by looking? You should have seen that Sengoku Nadeko is a good for nothing. Don't be fooled by looks, get a grip, right? That, like, to me, it seems like she's mad, basically, that he is still bothering to ask her to do these things when she thinks that she should have succeeded in making him just give up, right? Like, I don't know. Very, man. Hmm. And also, like, all of these lines, they also just show, like, how much importance to her maybe not importance to her, but how important she thinks it is to other people, that the way she looks, right? Like, it really is this whole being cute thing, right? I think it's more important to her than it is to anyone else, right? Like the perception that she assumes other people have of her from the way she looks, right? It's contrary to everything I ever did. And she goes up here and fucking screams at all her classmates, right? Man, that can be the thumbnail. That looks pretty good. It's a good good face from her. Terrifying. But yeah, so what's the problem in the classroom, right? The problem in the classroom is all of these people becoming kind of like so uptight and so, like, I guess not like scared of each other, but like so everything just becomes so tense because everyone became like aware of other people's emotions, right? Everyone through Kaiki's magic charms, which again I don't know if they were real or not. Who knows? I guess. Through people's magic charms, they became aware of what other people think of them, and they all became so uptight, and so the atmosphere in the classroom became so awful, right? And that is the exact thing that makes Nadeko act the way she does, right? She's so afraid of how other people will react to her and, like, her true feelings and, like, being a genuine version of herself, right? And that's what all of these people are, like, representative of, right? I don't know, they're so fucking they're losers, honestly. They all just start hating each other because of, someone being jealous and someone being, all of this stuff because of each other's feelings, right? Like, yeah, it's the exact thing that makes Nadeko act the way she does in the first place, right? Hmm. Maybe you're just lying low, trying to change classes in April, but you're going to be carrying the memory forever. Man, you've got to come to terms at some point, or stuff like this goes on forever. And yeah, I mean, I feel like Nadeko knows that, right? Because I think that's for Nadeko, that's the explanation for why she acts like this in the first place, right? Not like these classmates specifically, but people in general having this kind of attitude, right, towards other people's emotions, right? Hmm. I couldn't trust anyone because of those weird charms, but we all made up in the end. Hmm. And it's interesting because Nadeko herself is unable to do that, right? Like, yeah, it's like Nadeko is pushing off the responsibility of being genuine in the way you're perceived through that onto other people fully, right? It's like Nadeko, yeah, she's calling all these people the worst bunch ever because of their reactions to other people, right? But her herself, she's so reliant on the reactions of other people and the way they perceive her that it's like she has some responsibility in that as well, right? Like, she doesn't have to be completely at the sway of the way other people perceive her, like all of these people, right? She could power through it and be herself and be genuine despite that, right? But she just doesn't, So I don't know. I guess I agree, of course, that the way that they have reacted to this situation is bad, but it's not like it's fully all on them and that Nadeko herself, that there's nothing she could do to fight against it, right? Because that's always just going to be how it works, right? It's a lot easier to change your own behavior and the way that you interact with others than everyone else change, right? Because everyone on Earth is never going to be perfectly accepting and perfectly, it's just not going to happen. I yelled from the bottom of my heart. Maybe there's a better truth inside that lie. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Hmm. And her saying this, lies, betrayal, deception, hypocrisy, it just makes me think more and more that I think in some corner of her mind, that's how Nadeko views herself, like with the whole Kuchinawa business, right? Hmm. Don't hang out with people based on whether you like them or not. I hate all of you. God damn it, you're my classmates. I guess. I guess. And there we go. We leave school early. So this is very interesting, right? Um, and the scene immediately following that, there's so much color in the world. It's like all the color has returned. It's all so bright. Because this art kind of was really drab and dreary before this. It wasn't as bad as like a lot of scenes in like Hana. Hana was a very depressing arc at times, right? And Kambru in a room and all of that, right? Um, but this arc, we certainly hadn't seen this much color, right? All of these shots are so colorful. They're all so beautiful, you know? It's interesting, right? Now that I think about it, the walk to school was fun. Back then, what in the world was troubling my mind? I don't know, like, it's ridiculously colorful, you know? I don't really know what to make of that, right? I mean, I guess she probably just feels good that she yelled about all of that at them, right? But, that tirade earlier, it wasn't like I took over your body and said what was on my mind. Yeah, of course, right? Yeah, that was her. That was her. And she says, right, like, yeah, I'm aware that was me, right? It was Nadeko, none other than Sengoku Nadeko. It was Nadeko herself. It was what Nadeko was. It was just Nadeko saying what she wanted to say. It's not that you're to blame, Kuchinawa-san, but I do think it's your fault, Kuchinawa-san. And I wonder, it's like, I feel like the only way you can parse this line is if you do view it in that way, where it's like you can say Nadeko viewing herself as Kuchinawa, in a sense, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. For now, my life and my days at school have come to an ending. My life has come to an ending. It's interesting that she says it like that, right? But I guess, of course, she thinks that, right? Because, like, yeah, Nadeko's life is over, right? You know what I mean? Like, she will never be able to go back to being Nadeko, right? It's like she's blown her cover permanently now, right? She will never be able to fool everyone anymore into thinking that she's just this cutesy girl who's just Nadeko, right? So for now, once and for all, let's end it, Kuchinawa-san. Very interesting, right? You have clues to where your vessel is. Let's hurry up and find it, Kuchinawa-san. Have you regained your original powers? And then let's bid farewell. Her separating herself from Kuchinawa, right? Like, what does Kuchinawa represent, right? Like, I guess I just have to see where this goes to really decide, like, what she means by this, right? Because, like, what is she thinking in this moment? She's thinking, okay, my life is over, right? Her life as Nadeko. She won't be able to keep up this persona anymore, right? She's blew it. You know what I mean? Like, no one is going to view her this way that she's crafted for them to view her for so long. No one's going to view her like that anymore because she had this misstep, right? So she wants to separate herself from Kuchinawa forever. That would be the end of it all. Really, some really ominous language we're using for this, man. Should go to Kiyomi Onichan's house. The ending to everything is there. Just what a way to say it. What a way to say it. And, I mean, the vessel is in Kiyomi Onichan's house. Also, I just want to say, the way Kuchinawa also calls Araragi Kiyomi Onichan, I'm just saying, like, it's even more, you know, sure. What Skihi-chan was saying was probably right. The reason why I'm in love with Kiyomi Oni-chan is because... Wait, the reason why I'm in love with Kiyomi Oni-chan is because if I am, I don't have to get hurt. Romance takes a whole lot of energy. Kuchinawa-san does not, however. Falling in love with someone falling for you, sometimes it's easier if you keep pining for love that will never be yours. See, I think another reason why it's interesting, and I don't really think it's brought up here, but I think it's very important, is... it's also like it goes along with like being genuine, right? Something that's very important to you, right? Like I think falling in love with someone for Nadeko, that would be something that's really hard to fake, right? That would be like that would be something like genuinely falling in love with someone would be something that like for her would be a very personal and genuine thing. And that's what she's so scared of like being and showing other people, right? So I think that's just another angle to this whole Aragi thing is she's been in love with him for so long because it is like an ingenuine like relationship, right? Because it's never going to go anywhere. She knows it's never going to go anywhere. So she never has to worry about opening up to someone and being in a relationship with someone and being in love with someone, right? Like for real and seriously pursuing it, right? Because that's what she's afraid of doing, is being genuine and pursuing genuineness, right? So yeah, it makes sense. Hmm. Someone half-hearted like me continuing to be in love for 6 years with a friend's older brother whom I've barely gotten to know is just unreasonable. Maybe it is, yeah. I'd say it was because he was Araragi Kiyomi. Yeah, because I don't know, he was just there because he was Araragi Kiyomi, right? He was just, he was convenient, you know? Hmm. I have to say, I felt relieved being in love with someone as unattainable as the stars. An ideal left unrealized, an item never found. Calling it that let me live in peace. Yeah. Because it's just this whole large aspect, something that could be such a big part of her life, right? Something I think is important for a lot of people, right? Like, I don't know, falling in love with someone, right? It's something that and something that is so personal and is something that would have to be so genuine to like really exist. It's like that, yeah, she had to find like a specific excuse to be able to ignore that and to not have to engage with that, right? And it was Araki, yeah. Hmm. She, yeah, she finds the magazines, yeah. And there's the bookmark, the talisman. And I mean, I guess it's real. The vessel's real. I don't know what it is. It's something, I guess. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And he says he can grant her any wish. Overly ambitious. Unattainable. What should I wish for? Something for me, Sengoku Nadeko. Oh, come on. Go to the next one. What is it that I want? And I wonder if, and I wish I could read Japanese. So I wonder if this says watashi here, right? Something that I want, you know? But what's interesting is I don't think she goes with something that she wants, right? Because she's scared of pursuing what she wants, right? A wish, something that she truly wants, that's what she's unable to pursue, right? And what she immediately says is something in quotes, which is very interesting. It's like she's saying this in quotes, right? Because I think again, this is something just like in the first episode when she was talking about how the walk to school always makes her depressed in quotes, right? I think it's the same here. I think this is something that no, this isn't something that she wants. This is something that her, that Nadeko wants. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's of course, right? And fucking Aragi hears it. So fuck. What is gonna happen? How are we gonna get from here to Nadeko killing them? I don't know. Who knows, I guess. Um but okay. That was a really good episode. I guess that's it. Huh, yeah. I love Nadeko. She's really cool. She's kind of already like, I don't know. She's really gone up my character tier list, that's for sure. But all the characters are so fucking, I love all the characters so much. It's so hard to pick any of them that like I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos, and I will see you in the next one.